Okay, so hello. This is actually just a random vlog. It's not a vlog totally, but it's just a explainer on a recent topic that I and someone I know deeply that um have I guess argued about or have talked about. It's about SOGIE Bill. Um, Well, as we know, the SOGIE Equality Bill, which stands for Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity, and Gender Expression Equality Bill, is a proposed law in the Philippines designed to combat discrimination against individuals based on their sexual orientation, gender identity, or how they express their gender. Its main objective is to provide legal protection for LGBTQIA plus individuals and ensure that they are treated fairly in key areas such as education, employment, healthcare, housing, and access to public facilities. The bill seeks to criminalize acts such as denying someone a job because they are part of an LGBTQIA plus community, excluding students to schools due to their gender identity, harassing individuals for their gender expression, or revealing someone's identity without their consent. Although the bill aligns with the Philippine Constitution's commitment to equality, it has faced ongoing challenges in the Senate, despite having passed out the House of Representatives in 2017. Much of the opposition comes from religious and conservative groups who fear the bill may infringe on religious freedoms or promote what they view as special rights. Some argue that current laws already provide general protection against discrimination, making the bill unnecessary. On the other hand, supporters emphasize that the bill addresses specific and persistent forms of discrimination faced by LGBTQIA+ people that are not adequately covered by existing legislation. They insist the bill is not about giving special privileges but about ensuring basic rights and equal treatment under the law. The SOGIE Equality Bill has become a central part of the advocacy for LGBTQIA plus rights in the Philippines. For its proponents, its passage represents a vital move toward creating a society that respects diversity and upholds dignity of all individuals, regardless of how they identify or express themselves. The debate surrounding the bill continues to spark national conversation, particularly during events like Pride Month, underscoring the broader push for inclusion and equal protection for every Filipino. So, what do I think of the SOGIE bill? Well, in argument against the SOGIE bill, such as me, those who argue that the SOGIE bill is unnecessary often cite several key points, grounded in legal, social, and cultural perspectives. First and foremost, critics contend that the Philippines already has existing laws and constitutional protections that cover discrimination in general, such as the Bill of Rights in the 1987 Constitution, that is, we all know of, which guarantees equal protection under the law for all citizens regardless of status. They argue that creating a new law specifically focused on SOGI-based discrimination may be redundant and could potentially open the door to a proliferation of laws for every identity-based groups, rather than promoting unity under a common standard of equality. Another concern is that the bill might infringe upon religious freedom and moral convictions, particularly for religious institutions, schools, and businesses that follow conservative teaching. Opponents argue that the SOGI bill could force individuals or groups to act against their belief. For example, by requiring religious schools to accept openly LGBTQIA plus staff or students even if it conflicts with their doctrine. This raises the fear that the bill might lead to legal penalties for expressing religious views on sexuality and gender, which critics interpret as form of compelled speech or thought. Additionally, detractors argue that the bill may create special rights for LGBTQIA plus individuals rather than equal rights. They claim that all people, regardless of orientation or identity, should be protected under the same general human right framework, and that singling out one group may unintentionally suggest preferential treatment. Some also express concern that certain provisions in the bill are vague and open to abuse, potentially leading to false accusations or legal overreach that might burden courts and institutions. In essence, those against the SOGIE bill believe that while protecting individuals from discrimination is important, the bill as proposed is unnecessary, potentially divisive, and possibly harmful to other fundamental rights such as the freedom of religion, speech, and association. They advocate instead for the consistent enforcement of existing laws and policies that already promote dignity and respect for all Filipinos without introducing legislation that could lead to social friction or legal confusion. Additionally, before I end, I speak for myself and not for the people around me, not for the majority of the people that disagree with SOGIE bill. We do not disagree with the concept of LGBTQIA plus, but I believe there could be better work to be done when it involves the rights of people that either chose to have a different sex or gender, or people that are basically confused of how they feel about their genders. But still, it is important to understand the SOGIE Equality Bill before forming a judgment about it, because doing so ensures a more informed, fair, and respectful opinion on a matter that deeply affects the lives of many people. Of course, the bill addresses complex issues involving human rights, legal protections, cultural views, and social inclusion, which cannot be accurately evaluated through assumptions or partial information. Without understanding what the bill actually proposes, such as prohibiting discrimination in employment, education, and access to services, people might wrongly assume it promotes special treatment, moral decline, or interference with views, religious beliefs, when in reality it aims to guarantee equal rights and protections for all, especially those who are often marginalized. Knowing the details of the SOGIE bill allows individuals to distinguish between fact and misinformation. Public discourse around it is often charged with emotions and shaped cultural or religious biases, which can lead to distorted views. By learning what the bill does and does not contain, such as the fact that it does not force people to change their belief, but simply requires equal treatment in public life, people can engage in more constructive, respectful conversations that move beyond fear or prejudice. Furthermore, understanding the bill highlights why it exists in the first place, because many LGBTQIA plus Filipinos still experience discrimination, harassment, and inclusion. A well informed perspective allows for empathy and critical thinking, both of which are essential in shaping fair policies and a more inclusive society. In short, knowing the SOGIE bill before judging it helps avoid baseless criticism and contributes to a more mature, democratic, and compassionate public debate. That's all for today. I'm Zach. Have a good one.